Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to Mystical Wizardry. My name is Kyle, and today I wanted to share this really crazy dream I had 2 nights ago because it was extremely profound and pretty mind-blowing and somewhat terrifyingly scary. And I also wanted to talk about a few other things going on in the world right now that are relatable to my dream because I dreamt of them. There are big things going on in the world right now. My dream kind of revealed a lot of things to me and I wanted to share with you guys. I just also wanted to say that in no way am I saying that my dream is prophetic in any way. Although just this morning, today, while I'm filming this, I saw this video on YouTube of something that happened that I dreamt about. It's already becoming a reality. At least that it appears that way. Of course, I don't know. And so I think over time I'll see. And I'm going to jump deeper into that in a little bit, and so that'll make sense. But yeah, before we dive deep into the dream, I just wanted to say that I am no way saying that this dream is prophesizing the future or this is how events will play out in the future. In fact, that's not the case at all. And in no way am I saying that everything in my dream is true. Just wanted to simply share this dream and you can make of it what you will. Also wanted to say that, in case you didn't know, us humans, we have dreams. Most of the time, our dreams are a way for our consciousness to process information and fears that we may have in our waking lives. That's kind of why you have nightmares in a lot of ways, is because it's a way for your spirit and your soul to process information and fears that you have in your waking life, but in like a safe way, in a safe environment, in dream time. This dream very well, I do see it as about 50% of the dream as just a way for my consciousness and mind and my soul to process fears and information. And then there's another side of me that sees a lot of the things in this dream quite just interesting and touches on a lot of different things going on in the world right now, and I know what it means to me. You can make of it what you will. But anyway, let's just dive right in. Yeah, and just for warning, this video may trigger some people out there who are sensitive to like esoteric, deep conversations about conspiracy-ish ideas or things. Yeah, so just a forewarning. Yeah, so this dream kind of just starts off right with a bang. I honestly don't even remember all of it. My memory's pretty patchy. I think when I first woke up from the dream, I remember almost allowing my mind to forget some things because it was just kind of scary and there was just so much information and information overload. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it was almost like I purposely chose to forget some things. So my memory's kind of patchy. The dream kind of jumps around a bit. So bear with me. But yeah, the dream starts off with a bang. Right away from the beginning of my dream, this dark entity or being comes to me. Yeah, I perceived this being as Lucifer. It was Satan. It was almost like he was in the form of a man, in a black suit, black hair, white man. But then suddenly he kind of just morphed into this cloud of black smoke and then kind of had these red eyes and was like this kind of demon being or cloud of black smoke. It was like he came to me in the dream to show me his plans for the future, or the things that he's been doing or is planning to do in the future. Honestly, in the dream, I was obviously pretty terrified in my dream. It was kind of scary, but at the same time I did kind of get the feeling that he meant me no harm or didn't mean to threaten me in any type of way. So it was like I was scared, but at the same time I felt safe in a way. But it was almost like he didn't mean me personally any harm in a way. So he started showing me these visions of all these people, the public, and as of a week ago, all these vaccines started rolling out to the general public. Now that's the thing, the vaccines are rolling out and people are beginning to get vaccinated. I was seeing all these visions of these people who had taken the vaccine. They started having these mutations. Either I was seeing people coughing and getting sick, very sick, skin color kind of changing, people getting very sick, and then people also like straight up physically mutating and like growing like growths, like having some serious physical mutations and becoming almost like these mutant humanoid beings. It was really kind of gross and scary. And then I was even having this like idea or vision of that these people were becoming somewhat like kind of like zombies, and I thought about them becoming like zombies or like these mutants, humanoid mutants, and their DNA was changing. As soon as I kind of thought about them becoming these like zombies, then I saw the logo of the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil. I'm sure most of you know what Resident Evil is if you've seen the movies or played the games, but just in case for those who don't know, I guess the main plot line is Umbrella Corporation is this company who does like genetic testing and viruses. They created a virus and someone was paid to release the virus, and the virus ended up getting out to the general public and infecting people with a disease or a virus that turned them into these flesh-eating zombies. And what's really interesting is that actually when you look at that logo of the Resident Evil Umbrella Corporation logo, the lab in Wuhan where the virus first started, their company, they actually used the exact same logo, just blue and white rather than red and white. I mean, that alone is pretty freaking mind-blowing. Yeah, I actually find that extremely interesting because it's like almost, you know, this Hollywood movie pretty much emulates almost nearly exactly reality about a virus escaping and infecting people. And you know, there's tons of conspiracy theories about how whether or not the virus was natural, you know, from what they say, animals, or whether or not the virus was released on purpose or on accident. Anyway, that kind of idea really correlates with the story of Resident Evil. Yeah, and in my dream, you know, I was seeing all these people becoming sick and infected and mutating into these zombie humanoid or just sick people. You know, even today, like the video I saw today on YouTube is a video of a nurse who had just recently taken the vaccine, and she's giving a speech and she pretty much collapses and faints during the speech.
I'm feeling really dizzy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff considering I just dreamt about that, and now I'm literally seeing that happen in real life, that like people are having like negative consequences or side effects of taking the vaccine, and that's kind of what my dream just told me about. The video is kind of scary too because she grabs her head almost like her pineal gland or her third eye and just kind of collapses. Super weird. When I woke up, I thought about the movie I Am Legend as well with Will Smith, because in that movie it's very similar. There's like all these people in the world get really sick and become these like humanoid like creatures that are like savage animals, almost like zombies in a way. They're like these mutated humanoids, and the reason in the movie they become these mutated humanoids because of taking a vaccine. So that's also another fucking wild synchronicity there. Yeah, and this also kind of made me start to think about the conspiracy of predictive programming. Predictive programming is events or situations that are depicted in movies or shows that happen in the past and then later happen in reality in the future. And there's a lot of conspiracies about, you know, Hollywood is seen as this kind of cabal, evil industry that send out these predictive programming messages through movies, and whether or not they're doing it on purpose to make it a reality. And some people claim that that's a part of black magic in a way, where they have to tell you what they're going to do before it happens. And to give you some examples of predictive programming, we see that in The Simpsons, how The Simpsons predicted the election of Donald Trump as our president. Again, you can see it in I Am Legend, you can see it in Resident Evil, you can see it in the movie The Matrix, where on Neo's ID it says 9/11 2001, and these are all just examples of many predictive programming that is all throughout Hollywood and movies. And if you want to dive deeper into that, I would definitely suggest checking some videos out on YouTube about that. And again, I just wanted to remind you all that this is just a dream. This doesn't mean that this is reality. I just simply wanted to share what I was seeing in my dream and related to life in real life. By no means am I judging anyone who decides to take the vaccine, and I understand if you're around people who are extremely susceptible to the virus and you choose to take a vaccine in order to protect them, then how can I judge that? And also, people who are choosing not to take the virus, and people who are choosing to wait and to see what happens for a while first. And I think ultimately the choice is up to every individual, and me personally, I'm not going to be taking the virus because I don't trust it for shit. Yeah, so in my dream, after Lucifer was showing me kind of his plans about what is happening with the vaccine and how it is affecting humans and how people can potentially have these mutations or be getting sick from taking the vaccine, and then I started relating it to all these different things, and then thinking about seeing the symbol of the umbrella corporation and how that is literally exactly the symbol the Wuhan Lab uses from China, and connecting those dots and seeing all these synchronicities. Then suddenly, I don't really remember what happened. I just remember there was just a lot of pain and suffering and darkness and people getting sick. And then suddenly it was like I was in a room, and I was in a room sitting down, almost like in a garage, and I was sitting down at a chair, and then there was someone next to me who I honestly have no idea who it was, couldn't see their face, and then there was Satan or Lucifer also sitting down. And it was kind of weird because then in this moment his presence was just human, and he seemed almost not very evil in a way. It was almost like he was very human in a way. It was interesting because all I remember is the other person, who I don't know who it was, said something about, oh, do you know how the Saturn and Jupiter conjunction that is happening, and how he's those planets were in conjunction and aligned that way, were in alignment at the start of creation. And then Lucifer goes, I know, I was there. And then suddenly I had this crazy visual of Saturn and Jupiter and all the planets moving and coming into alignment with each other. And then it was like I was having this, almost like the vision of God. And it was like I was looking at the galaxy, and it was almost like at the start of creation, all the planets were in alignment, and then it was like go, when they all started moving in different directions. And it was kind of showing me that all the planets were in alignment at the beginning of creation. Whether or not that's true, I mean, I don't know, but that's really interesting to me. And this Saturn and Jupiter conjunction happening right now, everyone's calling, the start of the age of Aquarius and the great shift. Me personally, I do agree with most of those statements. I think that looking at where we've been, people say, this is the start of moving into the fifth dimensional energy, moving less out of third dimensional energy. Those are all good points and interesting concepts, and I agree with a lot of that. I think that this conjunction is really the closing out of I think a portal that's been open since 2012 of certain energies and karmic energies and lessons that humanity we have had to go through, and personally, on a personal level as well. It's like now we're finally finishing out this cycle, and this conjunction is kind of the start of an entire new era or cycle, and you can call it the age of Aquarius. All the darkness and craziness that we've been seeing coming up in the world in 2020, with lockdown, virus, vaccinations, racial injustices, all these things, and pedophilia things coming up in the world to be dealt with. It's like all this darkness is coming up from the human psyche and in the world, and coming up to be seen and to be processed and to be healed and dealt with. I think it's like this karma purge, It's not like as soon as we hit December 21st, 2020, it's like the whole world is going to just change to a positive, mystical wonderland. I think that, Saturn is the planet of limitations, boundaries, restrictions, hard work, and materialism. And Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, and spirituality, and it's benefic. It's the most benefic planet. They're very somewhat opposites in energies, and they both have their positives and negatives. Personally, I see this conjunction as Jupiter, shattering the old paradigm, because now Saturn, that was in the house of Capricorn. Capricorn is all about hard work, earth energy. And also, here's another thing that's somewhat interesting. The sign of Capricorn is related to the devil card in tarot. I think the devil just simply stands for materialism and, you know, the physical reality. And Saturn is all about limitations, restrictions, and yada yada yada. That's why there was so much, you know, like power struggles within the world. You know, the hierarchies at the top of the pyramid have all this power, and that's kind of what was being shown to, I think, people on a mass scale. The planet of Saturn is moving out of the sign of Capricorn and moving into the sign of Aquarius. The sign of Aquarius is all about, you know, new technology, new ways of thinking, you know, different. It's the alien of the zodiac. It's different, it's weird and new. And so I think, honestly, with this conjunction falling on the 21st of December 2020, and if you relate it to, you know, people were saying how 2020 is actually 2012, and it's just because the Gregorian calendar changed over time. And, you know, 2012, people were saying 21st of December 2012, this is the age of Aquarius. They were saying the same thing then, similar, or the end of the world, and or start of a new era, and things did change from that point. I know that for me personally, I started waking up in 2012. From 2012, it was this whole line of just this whole path I was on, and going through different lessons. And I think now, 8 years later, I think things did change there, but I don't think it was as important as this conjunction is in 2020. I think that, for me personally, I really do think that Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius and this conjunction is really the closing out of the old energies and the old cycles and all these things that have been coming up, all this darkness recently in 2020. This conjunction marks the beginning of a new cycle on a grand scale, a new cycle of energy, and moving into a new era. And you can call it the age of Aquarius. At least that's how I perceive it. And that doesn't mean that you know, all our issues are going to be resolved. And, you know, 21st of December, it's the start of change, and change takes a really long time, especially on a mass scale. And so I think that that's what we can be seeing moving forward with this conjunction. Yeah, and you know, I'm really into tarot and astrology on the side, and so I guess if I could be a healer in some type of way, I guess the advice I would say is that if you've been feeling stuck and directionless, and things have been really hard for you in your life right now, and you don't really know the way forward, you don't see the way forward, and things have been feeling stagnant and stuck, and you feel like you don't know where you're going or what to do, there's a reason for that. I think it's because me personally, when I say this, it's like I'm relating my life, and maybe it can relate to you, is that, you know, we've been finishing up karmic experiences and energies of the past and over the last few years, and, you know, we're in this kind of 0 point energy where the old is kind of dead and dying at this point, and we're finally coming to the end and the nearing of these experiences. And, you know, the new stuff hasn't come in yet, the new experiences, the new opportunities, the new intel that you need to progress and move forward in your life, the new intuition, the new directions, opportunities, doors that haven't been opened yet. Expect these things to start opening around that time and moving into the new year. Yeah, and then going back to my dream, after I saw these planets align, you know, it was like so beautiful. Then, you know, again, I had this like vision of me being God in a way, and it was kind of like I had almost like the devil or Lucifer in my little fingers, and he was tiny, and it was almost like I was this gigantic God being, and then like I was holding this little bit of darkness. It almost like made me feel like maybe it was like showing me like all that darkness or Lucifer, whether it's a real entity or not, you know, or just darkness in general has been, you know, trying its hardest to hold on to the old power structures, the old way of materialism, and so that's why it's pushing back as well. The darkness is pushing hard and fighting to maintain power, even though the age of Aquarius and this new energy is crumbling past structures in life, and the new energy can't be stopped. And so the age of Aquarius is all about truth. Aquarians are known to tell the truth and speak their minds and speak the truth, and so that truth can be shattered into the old paradigms, and that's kind of what you're seeing fall away and crumble and being shown, and the truth is being revealed. And I know I'm kind of blabbering off with this. Yeah, and then in my dream, you know, I had this little bit of darkness in my hand. It was almost like I was imagining myself as God in a way, and then it was like almost like I had a choice to destroy this darkness. but it was like alive too. It was like a being and something, and it was almost like darkness wasn't destroyed because of compassion and love, as weird as that sounds. Just wanted to share that dream with you guys, and I hope you thought that this dream was really interesting, and any of the information I shared with you today sparks any curiosity in you, and you find anything I said in this video interesting. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up and give me a subscribe for more content. Much love. Next time. See you next time. Peace.
If you and Vatu have the same fight every 10,000 years, why hasn't one of you destroyed the other?
He cannot destroy light any more than I can destroy darkness. One cannot exist without the other.
Find the light in the dark.